Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Monomyth Diaries, a bi-monthly podcast where ordinary people get to share their hero's journey. I'm Mandy.
And I'm Karen, and we'll be your hosts. Each episode will feature a hero who will share their journey of growth.
We'll hear stories about forgiveness, survival, determination, and much more.
We're glad you're joining us because we all have a monomyth to share, and someone out there needs to hear it. Welcome back to the Monomyth Diaries. It's a take what you like and leave the rest podcast.
Cyndi, thanks for joining us again. If you've had an opportunity to watch some of our previous episodes, you'll know that one of my favorite things to talk about are the boons, which is what this episode will be about.
Awesome. Well, thank you for having me.
In the last episode, you mentioned having the right people in your life as a key part of your transformation. And we talked a little bit about Jenna, and we talked about your friend Amanda, and we talked about your current husband, Hi. Were there any other figures that have become an important part of your life, a boon, so to speak, of your life now?
Yes, absolutely. So through Hi, I was really exposed to this world that I've never been exposed to before. For example, I met Mr. and Mrs. Jones. So Evan and Susie Jones was the Cosby for me, right? When I first met them, let me just share a little bit about how I first met them.
Please.
Okay, can we just back up for just a second?
Okay.
So when she refers to Mr. and Mrs. Jones, those are my husband's parents. So go ahead.
Yes. So the first opportunity that I had to really visit with Mr. and Mrs. Jones was on Thanksgiving, or maybe it was like, Thanksgiving Day almost, I believe. So we were coming home from service on Thanksgiving Day. And Hi was just like, hey, let's stop by and just say hi to them. It's super casual. And he briefly gave me, so I grew up with Webb and Adam and Tyler. Those are the Jones boys. The parents are inviting us over just something casual. And I'm just thinking, okay, sure, we'll just stop by and say hello. I get there and there's table settings and like real live sit down dinner, which I don't ever experience with my own family because we're too large.
Right.
Even when we get together, it's always 50 people, it's like buffet style, not a sit down. And if there is a sit down, it's for the adults, not the kids.
Right. And having dinner with Susie is like an episode of a Martha Stewart magazine.
Yes, there's place setting. I didn't know how to act. I did not know how to act. And so we get there and there are, the friends of their children, but I didn't see the children there. Like when they're not, I shouldn't say children because you guys are adults at this point. I'm like, I'm waiting for someone to introduce me to, well, here's Webb and Adam and Tyler. And we sat down and I'm looking around the table. I'm like, they're not here. And so Mr. and Mrs. Jones, of course, had, sit down dinner. Everyone's sharing a little bit about that. Their, just what's going on in their world. And then finally it dawned on me, like, they're having Thanksgiving dinner just for their children's friends.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Which,
that's incredible.
Again, unheard of for me. I don't think I could ever imagine, and even to this day, that my parents are just like, oh, I'm just going to invite my kids' friends over and have Thanksgiving with them. And again, this is not even Mr. and Mrs. Jones' friends.
Yeah.
This is just their kids' friends. That was definitely a whole new world to me. Never experienced something like that before. And, I have to say, they have shown us what a family, like a healthy family looks like.
Mm.
And I cannot appreciate them more, just their conversations and the way they treat their kids, now that they're adults, they're having true mature conversations and just leading and guiding. And those are all just things that I've seen on the Cosby Show or on TV. It's never been like a true real life experience. So I will have to say I've learned and grown so much through visually being able to see people live their life that way.
They're pretty special people.
They are.
And I'm sure there's a couple of other incredibly special people in your life as well, beyond the Joneses.
Yeah, so, going through what I've gone through and trying to really learn from others in a very positive light. Of course, my kids are my world, okay? And everything, if I'm not to this day, like trying to envision that, when you don't see, touch, or feel something and you only see it on TV. I mean, that is exposure, but it's not true, like, hey, this is what life can be like. And so being able to experience it for myself and then expose my kids to that kind of life, that means I'm trying to break the cycle of what, or just expose them to what a healthy relationship looks like, a healthy family looks like, and really how to encourage them to be, better in their generation and then, for generations to come. So yeah, they are my world. The things that I do or don't do, I'm pretty focused on how will this help them.
So beautiful you get to give that to them.
And it's not just your children now, because you have a grandbaby.
Yes, so that's the generations to come, right?
Right.
So Audrey, who's 3.5 right now, she's just she's my world too, right? Through, and I've always explained, for example, to Hai that my kids are just my limbs, right? They're a part of me. My growth in my faith also, hopefully one day will also show them that Jesus does love them, regardless of their journey, regardless of their choices. And so I hope, not just through faith, but through, everything that I'm doing and in my own failures too, and that they can learn from my failures and say, you know what, it's okay. It's okay if we stumble and fall, or we take the wrong, we make the wrong decision, the wrong choice, that it's okay. You can always bounce back. I'm absolutely hoping, that my journey can reflect not just on them, but the world around me, for those who I come into communication with and community with, that they can learn from me too. So this is part of why I'm doing this, is to share and inspire others.
Yeah.
Because in my deepest, darkest moments, that I had people to really pull me out of it. And so I'm hoping that this is going to be that moment that I can give back.
I love that you're paying forward.
And setting such a good example for the people around you.
So what strengths did you develop through overcoming the challenges in your life?
Confidence in myself is probably one of the biggest strengths. Through confidence, I've become more courageous. And then through courage, I'm able to, stretch who I really am, right? Like get out of my comfort zone and try something new. The unknown can be so scary, and change is hard. So it's been a good journey for me, knowing that I do have more confidence the more I try things, and more that I meet other individuals, and more I talk and share, and they're sharing with me and inspiring me. It gives me the courage, and the confidence to step out.
And what other strengths have you seen beyond confidence that have become a great abundance in your life?
So I think there's a mutual respect.
Wow.
Between Hai and I. I think part of it is he's growing in his own journey and I'm growing on mine. So it's not like a codependency, relationship. Whereas I think we lift each other up. He has his strengths and I have my weaknesses, and, vice versa. I think that's where we support one another. And that has helped us build that confidence and create new courage and the value that we see ourselves, seeing our worth. Right. And so, going from someone who didn't really believe and know what my worth and my value was, I'm able to really just say, you know what? I know what my value is. I know what I can do.
You guys are such a great team together, and I love how, compared to your previous marriages, it felt like they were just taking from you, whereas here it's a give, take. It's a true, when one is down, the other pulls the other up, and it's reciprocated.
Yeah, it's a true partnership, I will say.
You see each other as equals.
Yes, we see each other as equal. And we definitely, there's not because he's a male that he has more value. Or, in fact, when we first got married, I didn't have to take his last name. He's like, it's okay, you can keep so there's that, I was able to create my own identity, even within the marriage.
So let's shift gears a little bit. How has your newfound sense of self-worth affected your career trajectory?
I was always in the mindset of, okay, I'm going to work this 9 to 5. I'm going to just do what I need to do and go home and spend time with my family. And as you know, I'm a female minority. I already had that mindset of I have to prove myself with my family, right? Between male and female. Now it's in the workforce.
Oh, okay.
And so, going through the workforce as not only a female, but a female minority, it's also like I had to prove myself. Part of that, though, is, finding my own confidence. Like I said earlier, is trying to say, you know what, I know what I'm doing. And I do need to find my voice, whether it's at a round table with these executives. Like, I know what I'm talking about, and being brave enough to speak it. right? And sharing with them that I do know and that I do have ideas and here are my suggestions. I understand too that there's a cap, right? As a female minority, there's a cap. And I saw the glass ceiling as I started climbing the corporate ladder. And what am I willing to sacrifice? How long am I willing to play the office politics? And so in 2017, I had a shift. I felt that there was more. There was more to do. And so in 2017, me and Hai had ventured into entrepreneurship. And we opened up our first studio. It's an arts and crafts studio called the Rustic Brush.
Oh, wonderful.
And
I've been
so, yeah, and so I was working a full-time job and I was doing, the Rustic Brush mainly nights and weekends just to kind of, support this vision that I had. Like, I just wanted to have more time with the family or at that time, Lindsay was in teenage years. She can work with us, make some extra income. Her friends can work with us and really help develop these kids and their skills. What I've learned through that is, I was stretching myself, going out of my comfort zone, learning. I mean, as an entrepreneur, you're not just the accountant, you're not just the janitor, you're not just the HR payroll person, you're also marketing, you're also sales, you're all of these hats that corporate, you're not wearing.
Yeah.
And
As Karen calls it, building muscles.
oh, I built a lot of muscle. I mean, I don't know if I have a six pack.
Business pack.
Business pack, yes.
So, just out of curiosity, had you left your W-2 job at this point?
No, I was still.
You're doing both.
I was doing both.
Wow.
Oh, yes. So I was juggling working full time, opening up the studio, working the studio, and then I still had, family, my kids that I needed to care for. And I mean, it was just more of like, I want to leave corporate America because I saw too that working in corporate America that, the older you get, the higher you climb that corporate ladder, you're at a cap. I saw the glass ceiling and I'm like, they're not going to pay me more than that. And I know I'm worth more than that. And really looking back, you're working really long hours. And then I thought, if I really took my salary and divided by all the hours that I work, am I really making more? Or am I just spending more time there?
Right.
By the time COVID hit, Hai and I had 4 different studios across the Houston area. I think it's been a journey into entrepreneurship that I never expected. And I really am happy to say I'm really glad I did it, though. I would have never known how it felt. And now that I know what it feels like to sign a lease, build out a location, all of that. And once we sold the Rustic Brush and the franchise itself, we actually have this other idea. We have this space here. If we're going to utilize it for ourselves, why not share the space with the community? And this is where the idea of this co-working cottages really was born. And so we were like, okay, we don't need this whole space. And how can we help the community really build their own community within our community?
I love that.
After COVID, well, we call it post-COVID, right? Post-pandemic, a lot of people were working from home. They don't necessarily need a office space, all the time. They might only need it for the month or for the week, maybe even for the day. So how do we help them get what they need without having us, really lock them into like a 5-year lease, which we were locked into when we had the Rustic Brush. And so...
Oh, so you took that learning experience. I see.
Yeah, so that learning experience of, what are the needs and how do we provide solution to our community? And the co-working space was something that we thought, well, we can share the space. People can come in here, whether it's for, their podcast show like what we're doing today, or if it's just, hey, I just need the day of studying because we do have several colleges around here. The students might be rooming with other students and they just need a private time to study and to focus and, and be comfortable while we're doing it, which is where we're like, okay, well, why not have a place where people can work in comfort and succeed in style? So that was kind of where I thought, why not? Why not share the space?
It's a beautiful space.
I appreciate
it. It feels very homey and comfortable.
Exactly. So we've been working from home for so long, so why make it like that sterile, workplace environment where the walls are gray or white, like why not share that with some color and some comfort in it?
And how long has this been open now?
Well, we opened up in July of 2024. So it's only been a couple months.
Wow.
Yeah.
Brand new.
Yes, brand new. So we're so excited to have more people in the community come out.
I love that you came full circle, that you like took the things that the less than ideal and less than pleasant scenarios from your past and then turned them into solutions. Like being trapped in a 5-year lease when, there was a pandemic and things going on, and then coming up with, hey, this is going to lead me to my next business and offering solutions to other people at work.
I love that you've taken all of the things that you've learned in the tools and you're putting it together, your confidence, your self-worth, like I can do this, right? I love that. And you're doing it with high, even better.
Yeah, and that's the great part is, yes, we're like each other's sounding board.
Right.
Sometimes, being in your own thought and you don't have that someone to say, hey, there's a blind spot. We all have blind spots.
Mm-hmm.
And we want to be able to have people who love us and say in a loving way, hey, have you thought of it this way though? Or maybe that idea is not so sound. It's so easy to find people who are going to agree with you on everything.
Right.
And it takes a special relationship to say, I love you, but I don't always agree with you. And I think that we need to talk about that a little bit more. I wanted to have someone who will tell me no too.
Mm-hmm. That's a lot of trust. But it's also refreshing to see how honest you guys are, and that really, like, how you were talking about, like, surrounding yourself with the right people and the right tools. I see in your marriage, you guys are stronger together than you were apart, and that's just incredibly beautiful to watch.
We both know that there's a higher calling for each of us.
Yeah.
And what does that look like? And I'm here to support him on his journey as he is with mine. I look back on that relationship statement that I made when I was in the workshop, and it mirrors a lot of the things that I wrote down. What did I manifest in the relationship that I wanted?
Guys, I think, are like probably the most hard-working couples, not just in your business and in your entrepreneurial spirit, but even your personal internal spirit, and that's just and your spirit of faith. That's just so refreshing to see.
All right, so early in the episode, you mentioned the idea of abundance. Can you tell us a little bit about how you've been able to mentor other women and make a difference in their lives?
Absolutely. So part of my giving back to the community now is also creating workshops for others to be able to learn and experience some of the things that I've been fortunate enough to experience so that I can move on and stretch myself and grow in my own journey. So the mindful reset was something my friends and I just sat down one, lunch and said, what can we do to give back? And we came up with this concept of mindful reset to empower other women, to invite guest speakers to teach about different topics, whether it's leadership, time management, self-defense, just even doing yoga to have that quiet time and that focus and listening and being able to discern, what is your body telling you? And so we had our 3rd annual last year.
Okay.
Mindful Reset, and in fact, we have a magazine.
I was going to say, I saw you're on the front of this magazine, and it was from 2023. So I was going to ask you, how many years have you done this?
It's been 3 years, and it's just our way of giving back. We do charge a small fee, but it includes breakfast and lunch, and of course the space and the swag bags, and even this magazine. But we do also have sponsors who help us through this because we don't do this alone. It's a community effort.
Absolutely.
We give up our time, but this is definitely a community effort because we're better together.
During these workshops, you're doing a lot of the same things that you had learned during some of your workshops.
Absolutely.
That you attended.
Yes. Some of the things that I've learned that I felt was empowering for me.
Yeah.
And it's not just my thoughts and ideas. That's why I partnered up with other friends who have their own journey and their own sharing, and as well as these guest speakers who have knowledge in their own specialties. So we invited, for example, self-defense. Like as a female, we want to make sure that you're defending yourself, whether it's from strangers or just personal, physical attacks. So how do you do that? How do we prepare ourselves for things like from your mindset to your physical? Like you got to take care of you. It's almost like when you're on a plane, they say you have to put on your mask before you can put on someone else's mask. So we're just teaching, other women how to take care of themselves.
I'm actually feeling a little moved because I'm thinking about where you began in a community where the women were not valued to now you leading this group and really empowering these women to really grab the world by its horns.
I know that we are all struggling somewhere along the way. And it's just a matter of reaching out and saying, I see you, I'm validating how you feel, and just to be support, like I'm here for you if you need anything.
So Cyndi, in what ways do you incorporate your faith when mentoring these women or other people?
Oh, I speak about my faith openly. I think it's important for me to just say, listen, it's my walk. This is my journey and my share and my story, right? But it's not for everyone. I try, I really would rather them see me in the way I live my daily life and not necessarily how I share it. For them to see me and my growth and my journey, hopefully that can be a reflection. And so, for example, I went to our church's women's event recently, and I love the way they depict it. It was, if you think of those stained glasses, they're broken pieces of glasses that are put together to give you an image. But imagine if when there's light that goes through it and reflects all these, the spectrum of colors, and how beautiful that is. And sometimes, when we look at ourselves, like I'm broken. Right. All these pieces have come together. And if I have other women of faith reflecting light through me, and the image that I project out to others is kind of like that image that I see, like the women around me that I'm sharing my story with, hopefully they're just catching that glimpse of the reflection from others through me.
Right. Speaking of hope, what hope do you have for listeners? What are you hoping that they'll take away from this episode today, your story?
Oh, to not give up and to be kind, not just to others, but to themselves. If you're asking for someone to love you, love yourself. If you're asking someone to pamper you, pamper yourself.
Right.
Have that and give yourself that. I think that that's so important.
It is. I had a friend once say, you can't get the love you want until you can give it to yourself.
And if I can inspire anyone by just one example of any story that I've given throughout this podcast, it's just, to be kind and know that those who are not kind to you, though, is because they're hurting. And that hurt people just tend to hurt people because they don't know any different.
So true.
So forgive them too.
I love your message of being kind. And it segues right into our last part of our every episode. We have an attitude of gratitude time where we take an opportunity to thank someone and show our appreciation. And we're going to give you that opportunity to thank any significant individuals, anybody in particular that you want to give a shout out to.
Sure. My whole story, if it wasn't for my mom and dad, I have to just thank them as parents for giving me life. I like to thank, even if it was an ex, my first husband, my second husband, because I've learned through each of them, and that they gave me my beautiful children that I have now, Lindsay and Brandon, so definitely just grateful, for being in my life when I needed them and showing me what they needed to show me when I needed to see it.
Right. Yeah, because without them, you wouldn't be here today.
Exactly. And really, I'm just so grateful, too, that I met Hi. And my friends, they've been such a great support group for me. They've accepted me and have really walked with me in this journey of transformation from who I was and who I am now and my continued journey. And so I'm so grateful. And I'm grateful for you guys. So grateful that you guys are, inviting me to this podcast so I can share my story. I think everyone has their story, and the more we share, it creates this space of vulnerability. No one probably has ever heard my real story.
I know. You did say that this is the first time you've actually shared your story. So I feel so honored that you did it with us and with all of our listeners. So thank you.
So,
we very much appreciate the time that you have given us and this amazing space. So thanks for letting us use the cottages.
Thank you for treating us like gold. And honestly, truly from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for your vulnerability. That takes incredible courage to be able to speak so openly and so passionately and to share your wisdom with so many of us. Thank you for the opportunity to learn from you.
And thank you, everybody, for joining us today.
Thank you for joining us today. If you enjoyed this episode, please share, hit like, subscribe, and follow us on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. Feel free to email us at monomythdiaries@gmail.com with your monomyth and keep the conversations going.
Until next time, heroes, let's journey together through stories.